Falling back to harmony is the finest episode you'll see. Together we grow amigo. I wasn't gonna say it. Whatever say it, man. So this instrument right here happens to be very similar, very similar to the Stella 929 harmony that we featured last week, which happened to be an episode that we started 315 years ago. We unearthed it with that frozen caveman from, you know what I'm saying, the caveman they found in the ice. You know what I'm saying? He was frozen like this. Dude was like frozen for 3,000 years in the ice in the Alps like this. And then right under his arm, they found a guitar from last week. And then they found under that, they found a DVD of the first 4 or 5 videos, you know what I mean, of that. And they found me and they're like, look at this. We found this old Guitkit of you from many years ago. Do you still have the instrument? I was like, I think I do. Where's that youth serum? They gave me the youth serum, and I look like I do again. And now I'm able to feature part 2. Finally, you get to see 2 of these. Now, the other one had like a traditional, you know, this is more like a cowboy pickguard. Like, you know, my Stella's nicer than yours, pard. These are the Stellas that they sold down in Texas. You know what I'm saying? This ain't for the white boys that just think they're city folk. This is for the real man. That's what they said. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't there, but I seen a video of it, and it wasn't very woke at all, man. It was anti-woke, and it was old school. And it'd probably just be canceled. It might be canceled by the time this video comes out, so you'll never know about it. So you're at a loss. So anyway, I want to tell you about this instrument because it's important to me. My friend Vegan John down the swap meet, he had some instruments one day, and this was one of the instruments that he had, and I was going to buy it just for parts. You know what I'm saying? He had this piece right here, which is worth its weight in gold. This piece right here, which is worth its weight in platinum. And like, you know what I'm saying? The tuners, and a nut. And he's got an old set of strings from 1913. The strings are actually on the Titanic. They found them floating on the Titanic. Old school stuff, man. I think I paid $12 or something, $18. Whatever it came out to with our weird kind of math. Because we had a weird deal. Like, I had like a bunch of instruments, and like each one was like on like a curve, the price. And it was like killer negotiation. So this is the second one. Very similar to last week's. Probably around the same year. I don't see the year. There's some kind of stamp in there. I don't know. We'll look at it a little bit better on the slab. I don't want to waste all this time when I look at it. It's still got the tuners. Still got the nut. It's got everything that, you know what I mean, you hope it would have. It means it's not going to cost us very much to restore it. If we can just get this to pop out again and fix it up a little bit, you know what I mean, we'll be happier the campers than we were beforehand. And I always like to camp out in a happy style. Nothing like camping when everything's wrong, right? You campers know what I'm saying about the happy camper shit. It's true, right? Hey, man. You fucking lying, man. So, you know what I'm saying? I hope you enjoyed these installments. Falling into harmony. Falling back into harmony. Falling in love again. Because I'm falling in love with harmony once more. 1, 2, 3. So here we are. Now, it's got all of its accoutrements, man. Everything is pretty much here, just like the one we did last time we met. But it's real fucked up, man. We got some serious sinkage. You know what I'm saying, man? It's not looking pretty. The back's being held on by duct tape. And this is like serious duct tape, masking tape, all kinds of tapes, man. That's like serious duct tape, man. There's duct tape and masking tape. Like the duct tape, you know what I mean, failed, and then they were employing the masking tape. So let's get to work, man. Let's take these strings off. 4 lone strings. I'm always getting guitars now with just 4 strings on. Isn't that weird? Oh, yeah. That bass. That's fucking cool, man. Let's get into the laboratory and start working, man. Nothing else to say, man. We talked about harmony till our beaks fell off, man. Now we're ready to fucking dissect it and take this guy off. Just like we did last time. You know the drill, guys. You've been in county before. Welcome back to the lavatory. I told you to turn the fucking camera off. So here we are, man. Part 50 million. Fall back into harmony. Look at this. It actually has little bushings on it, man. That's kind of rare for, you know what I mean, Stella. You know what I'm saying? This is like toward the end of the 60s run. So I guess maybe they're like, you know what I mean? We're going to make it nice for the people. But like I said before, man, this guitar is toast, man. So I put all the accoutramentos back in the same box that held the other guitars' accoutramentos for 36,000 years, right? And here we are, man. Now, our next step, I think all the braces are in there. Like fucking blocks and shit in there. Hey, looks like they're all in there. I mean, I don't know exactly. So let's peel this tape off, man. I'm gonna peel your tap off. I'm gonna peel this fucking tap off. Let's see what's there, what's missing. And then we'll take it from there. People. Alright, so we got it apart. And like I figured, man, all the braces are accounted for. We have every single one of them. Look how sloppy harmony was here, man. Hey, man, the 60s, we were all on dope, man. Look how... Turn the light on there so you can see it, man. Let's just see it. See, there's stamps on both sides, man. Some people don't understand that. A lot of times, there's a stamp on this side and maybe not on this side. I found that out the hard way, man. I found that out the hard way doing here, snap back into the harmony times. You know what I'm saying? This is so sloppy, man. Don't judge, bruh. So, I mean, this is like a seesaw here. Because this is just so wobble-dobbled, man. It's all dobbled out of shape, man. What do we got to do? This back is nice and straight, so we don't really worry about him right now. Just hold him back there, W. We'll get back to you, Manuel. Now, you can see that the humps, especially back here, are very hard, just like that last one that we did. And there's one that goes out this way, too. Because we have the back off, though, no one's still attached. See that? One less survivor, huh? So, I mean, we don't necessarily have to go outside and pour any water on it. I remember I had my L2, Gibson L2 from 1922. And I brought it to my mentor, Dr. Battillo, 25 years ago, 20 years ago, something like that. And he told me he was going to open up the back and put, like, heated sandbags in there to sort of get the, you know what I mean, get the arch top, because it was an arch top that was caved in, you know, going in again. He was describing the process and everything. And I think maybe what we can do, no, the heated sandbags, because, I mean, that would take us too long, you know. He was saying that would take weeks maybe to get it, you know, perfect. But that was a nice guitar. This is a POS parts guitar, right? I'm thinking I'm going to put like a old t-shirt in like a little, you know, Chinese soup canister. Fill that with boiling water and just set it on there. That way we don't get all that, you know what I mean, hot water frostbite over the finish like we do all the time that we do our little water trick. The water trick works so well. This is like more of a controlled water trick. So I'm going to boil up a big pot of water. And I'm going to get a t-shirt ready. And I'll see you at that point, right? And then we'll just sort of place it on there wearing a pair of rubber gloves. You might destroy this little stamp, so take a good look at it. I'll take the flash off again, because I guess you can see it a little bit better. The 929. It's like the same stamp as this, man. It's like they stamp both sides, right? I've been from both sides now. So I'll see you that point. Hey, man, I get you point. All right, I get it loud and clear. All right, so we got it all set up here at the end of the workbench. Got a cloth behind it, an absorbent cloth, so we can catch any water. That won't, you know what I mean, mess up the finish. So, we got an old t-shirt stuffed into this wonton soup cup. A little bit of water, just freshly boiled. See that? It's all steamed up, man. See it all steaming? See it all? It's all steamed up the windows, man. Yeah, I'll wipe that off like a bunch of Visine. We're going to pour that in, get that real hot, put some rubber gloves on. Just position it right here over the hump. All right, we got humps going every which way with this motherfucker. I'll see you that parent, man, when we've been laid out. Alright, so I actually did 2 t-shirts. Yeah, smoke coming off, man. Hey, man. I was getting vaping, man, inside of my car, and a cop came and said, "What are you doing, man? You smoking in here?" I said, "No, I'm vaping in here, man." So, we're going to let this set for an hour, 2 hours, right? And just let it, you know what I mean, cool off, right? You know what I'm saying? We weren't happy with one shirt. We did 2 shirts, so we covered the whole thing. We'll see what happens. Now, I usually like to, when I pour it into the hole, I usually like to pour, like, you know what I mean, a quarter or a half of the, you know, carafe, like, out the, you know what I mean, side of it and the front of it, too, to loosen up the front of it. You know what I mean? Just to see what happens. So we'll see if that's, like, you know what I mean, something that's a deal breaker here, right? It's already starting to cool off a little tiny bit with the steam, right? See when it's all cooled off. Another short spell. Ready? 1, 2. Alright, so it's been about 2 hours. I sort of checked it out. Well, wood seems kind of pliable. I mean, not as good if I, you know, had done it the traditional way, just pouring all kinds of water all over it a couple times, you know what I mean? What we're going to try to do right now is just, I mean, it's sort of all warped now because of the water. I don't know if this is a good idea or a mistake, but I think we'll be able to get away with, you know, the whole principle of everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to clamp this guy to the counter, a nice flat countertop, for, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. So I'll show you when we're clamped. I'm going to put some big piece of wood in there and just, like, you'll see. I'll show you in a moment. I think I did it the wrong way, folks. This might end up just being, you know, thrown away. You know what I'm saying? And I'll show you how to parts out a guitar. See, it actually cracked the top of the guitar. All this bullshit. And this came totally detached. You know what I mean? This is a fucking mess. We got like a piece of wood, and a big piece of metal here, and a little shim in there to hold this up. It's just a fucking mess. Let's give it a couple days and see what happens. I'm telling you, not going to be a pretty one. Right? It's going to be an ugly one. But God loves the pretty ones and the ugly ones equally. We'll see in a bit. Alright, so it's been about 5 days. Let's unclarp it and see what we can do as far as getting those braces back on there. Right? Right. So now, it's even more messed up than it was before. Beside this big crack that we saw here, the crack actually extends back here. There's a crack here. Looks even worse in the front. Old crack on the bulge was not the case before. We failed. We failed miserably on this fucking one. So, I think what we're going to have to do is we're just going to have to go dump some water on it outside, like the correct way, and try to fix this and just glue these clamps in. You know what I'm saying? At this point in the game, I mean, it's not really, you know what I'm saying, going to be very pretty. But we might be able to get it playable to like a weird sort of, you know what I mean, consolation prize. Right? I don't know, man. I'm kind of disappointed. Very disappointed. So I'll see you outside when we dump some water on it. We should have just done that in the first place, right? Alright, so we're outside. It's a beautiful day. Nice and mild. Got our old boiled water, right? Again. This is not what I wanted to do. This is gonna just make a mess. But a mess of the lacquer is the price to pay for an instrument that has actually a flat top. With a flat top, right? So let's just set out here for like 4 or 5 minutes, not very long, until it starts to get slightly pliable, and we'll go downstairs and actually try to clamp it up. Right? See if that burnt. Well, it's definitely ain't too pretty, ain't too proud.
Lots of clamps going. Got 2 pieces of wood here, shadowing the fretboard. Trying to keep that front top straight, curling up. We got a piece of wood underneath here. Trying to keep that, crack going down the middle there from bubbling apart. I don't know, man. I think everything we've done so far has just made it worse cosmetically. Probably would have looked a lot better just glue the back on it and hung it on the wall. You know what I'm saying? But it was unplayable as it was. I mean, the action was just ridiculous. So we'll let this guy set, dry out. While we do, let's glue the braces to the back of the guitar. You know what I'm saying? We've got nothing to lose except for like a nice set of harmony braces. Right? Let's do that now. Voila. Right? And now we wait. Right? I'll see you then. Alright. So it's been about 36 hours. Let's unclamp this guy. Right? I'll see you that print. Alright, so we accomplished our mission. We should have just done that from the get-go. We wouldn't be faced with such an ugly fucking pile of shit here. We can take a little bit of solstice that a lot of this ugly shit's going to be hidden behind the pick guard, but at least we have a flat top now. There's no big bulges. You know what I'm saying? There's a huge ugly crack running down the instrument, but whatever, man. You can't win them all. This is a guitar that we paid next to nothing for, and it's worth next to nothing. So let's go unclamp the back now, right? See that print. Alright, so the back looks a hell of a lot better than the front. But it is what it is, folks. So we got all this remnants of 40-year-old duct tape. I was saying it's real sticky, leaving a mess everywhere. This is Goof Off. This takes off all kinds of adhesives. I had one that was natural, made like a lemon oil. I think my wife made off with it somewhere, right? So we're going to use this. We'll apply it to a little rag. Wipe it off carefully. Paper towel is best because you don't want to really put this in the washer. With the other washer rags. You know what I'm saying? Disposable rag of some sort. Let's get it earth. Alright, so we got all that shit off for the most part. Once we got the adhesive off with the adhesive remover, sort of like a petroleum-based thing. I still got like some of the stuff on my hands. I had to wash my hands with soap and water. Then we hit it up with some rubbing alcohol to remove all the oil. That was like kind of left like a greasy film on it. And then some of them we just hit it up with a little tiny bit of rubbing compound because we had to, scrub the shit out of it to get it off. And that old ass adhesive is kind of hard to get off. Duct tape adhesive especially is very, very difficult to get off. Especially off a lacquer, which isn't very strong. So now that we've already solved that matter, we got to glue the front back onto the sides. We're going to start over here and just work our way in on the inside here. This section up to the curve here. And then this section. So I'll see you after this section's all glued up, clamped up, ready to rock and roll. Alright, so that's section 1. I'll see you at section 2. Alright, there's the second clamp right there. That's the number 2. And here we go with clamp number 3. Right. Yes, that's the 4th clamp right there. Got the pipe clamp going across to keep it all together. At this point, we're going to want to start pumping glue into this crack right here. Right? As much as we can, as far as we can go. Right? Let's do that now. There we go. Nice thick river of glue. And we're just keep pumping it full of glue as we go. Right? I'll see you at the next clamping print. Right? I'm going to print it out to you then. It's not printless. Right? Never printless. Alright, so there's the last clamp. Of course, we're still pumping glue into that big crack. Now, with a crack of that magnitude, you're going to need to do it like 4 or 5 times at least. First time you do it, you're going to see it dry and it look like you didn't even do anything at all. And the second time, it's going to be like spotty. Third time, you'll get more coverage. By the 4th or 5th time, you'll see like the crack is totally full of glue. when it dries, you know. It's all what it looks like when it dries. Right? Speaking of that, I'll see you when this dries. Then we'll start working on the back. Alright, so this is dry. That crack is totally filled in. It's looking good, man. Let's unclamp it and see how we get that back on there. Alright, so we actually put a little bit of glue on the other side of those cracks. And we don't have to really clean it up because no one's ever going to see this again unless like we smash the guitar on stage, and that's not going to happen because we're not too violent anymore, man. We're more calm, man. We're the calm after the storm. I'm thinking I could probably clamp this in one setting because we put it on, and if we push the waist together, it pretty much fits on like a fucking glove. So let's, rim around the rosy here. Put glue everywhere we possibly can put it on, you know what I mean? This part of the guitar. Put the old top on there. Clamp it up, and I'll see that pernt. Hey, man, you got my pernt finally. And there it is, man, the tangled maze of many clamps. Let's let it dry overnight. And that's the pernt. We'll be together. Alright, this mess has been setting for 24 hours now. Let's unclamp it. Let's get on with the project. Right? Alright, so we're alright. I'm saying it looks ugly. But it's flat top again, right? No one can deny that. So let's try to get some of this white off of it, William. Like we always do, we're going to take some weak nail polish, regular. This has got the vitamin E and it's not very strong. Take a little magic erase sponge and just like quickly do some flybys on there till they're gone. I don't want to look, William. I don't want to know. Alright, so it's looking a little bit rough still. But that's really because it's got a lot of glue on it. And it's hard to like do this when there's lots of glue on it. Let's take some furniture polish. And let's clean the shit out of this motherfucker. It's so filthy. Right? I'll see if that burnt. Oh yeah, much better. Much cleaner. You know what I'm saying? Much leaner, much meaner. Another one ready to roll almost, right? So, we got this real ugly crack here, man. It's real apparent. I got a black furniture marker. Let's try to, you know what I mean? Make it look nice for the people over in this area. Over here, you can't really see it that much. But right here, you can see that shit. It bothers me. It bothers me, everybody. It's a lot less drastic. Not as bad. Not as bad. So, what we need to do is we need to wax it, William. When, why, where, when, why, where, when, and wow. Everywhere, everywhere, right? I'll see you after it's been waxed. Waxed, William, waxed. Now we got a little bit of showing going. You know what I'm saying? Especially on the back. Where life ain't too complicated there, W. Right? Neil and I'll hold them down. You take the pictures. Right? So, what do we got left? Well, we got a couple little things, man. Let's go over this guy with some steel William, otherwise known as steel wool, and let's reattach him right down there, right down toward the end there. Right? I'll see you then, partner. Yes, and it's like brilliant. It's the best condition harmony tailpiece I've ever seen. I could see myself scratching my ass in it. So I still got this guy. He's all dirty looking, right? Let's give him a little bit of wax, right? Rinse him off with water first. Screw him on. I'll see you at that parent. There it is, man. What a waste of good parts. Well, at least it's an instrument again, right? So, we have one last thing to do. Put on a set of rainbow strings. Just like all the rest of our fallback and harmony friends. And I'll see you at the glamour shots. Right? Almost done. Almost done. Almost done with November. Almost done with this fall back to harmony dream. And there it is, man. The final nail in our fall back into harmony saga. Now, I just said to you guys, this guy was a waste of parts, man. You know what I'm saying? This would have been better off dead than alive. More valuable, right? And you never know what's going to happen once you string up a guitar that you're restoring, especially these old harmonies. So all the 929s have like a separate thing. Look at the action of this fucking thing. Look how gorgeous that action is. This is now my favorite one. Before this guy, I liked that 60s silver tone. But now this is my favorite one. It sounds best at all four of these 929-ish guitars, man. Plays like a goddamn dream. Looks like shit. I would have spent a lot more time sort of buffing out that, you know what I mean, water damage to the lacquer if I knew that this was going to be such a great instrument. I'm not going to really bother, though. Because, I mean, you know, it's a flat top, though. Honestly, when I first tried that new t-shirt idea of trying to get those bumps out of there and failed, I was thinking of throwing it across the fucking room. I was that mad. There's not going to be a conclusion of our fallback in harmony bullshit. Fuck this shit. I was so angry, but I was like, you know what? Let me see what I can do. Let me see if I can fucking fix this. You know what I'm saying? It was great, man. It's really a great instrument. Sounds great. It plays great. It doesn't look great, but I mean, this is like, you know what I mean, the most surprising as far as looks is concerned. I mean, we had wood missing off the front, but it doesn't sound that great. Like I said, man, every one of these 929s is like a different animal. You know what I mean? They're all sort of, if you're counting on uniformity, and harmonies are the wrong thing to think about, man. Each one is a total different chapter of a weird, fucked up book. And I was saying earlier in the episode, this is kind of like the Beatles thing, considering this is the 60th anniversary of 1964, Beatles conquering the world, right? In America, it's 1963. It was the first year they had a single over here on Swan. I think She Loves You came out. George Harrison came here to visit his sister for a couple weeks, right? The 69, that was pretty much the end of the Beatles. Abbey Road. The last great album recorded by the Beatles, of course. And there it is, man. So I was saying it sounds good, man. How do you know I'm fucking not lying to you, man? I've lied before. I'm going to lie again. Let's hear it then. And then we can say, peace be with you. Look after yourself. Peace be with you. Look after yourself. Peace be with you. Look after yourself. Forever. The 69929. The final chapter in the mouth-watering saga. Falling back into harmony. Usually this point of the year, Amp month is on its way, right? December. Whoa, what surprise will we have? Well, we'll see. We'll see. Oh, such a beautiful sounding instrument. It's a gorgeous sounding instrument, man. What a beautiful instrument. That's the pick guard, man. Pick guard's a little, ooh, it's got a little crack in it, right in the middle of it. Anyway, so I misjudged this instrument. I misjudged it all the way through this project. You know what I mean? There were so many times where I was about to be like, I gotta find another 69 harmony to talk about because this one's just, I gotta do something else, But I didn't. I stayed the course, right? And actually, a beautiful gift was bestowed upon me of an instrument that now I think might be a daily driver. I like to keep like guitars all around my house, ones that aren't too valuable in case they get fucked up and sitting by a chair. This will definitely be by one of my chairs somewhere in this house. So let's talk about another thing that I misjudged, man. growing up, man, I was a big fan of Squeeze. I like that whole 80s British, the British, invasion from the 80s, man. That was one of my things. And, you guys who know me know that. And I appreciate that. But there was another 80s band from Great Britain that I always disliked. And because I like Squeeze, and because I also like Springsteen, because I'm from Jersey, you know what I mean? I was always looking, in the S section of record stores, And if there was no Squeeze section, which a lot of times there was, no Squeeze section, just like go to the S section, I'd always see albums from the Smiths. It's fucking Smiths, man. What the fuck is this, And then when I was in high school on my bus, there was this girl who was kind of cute. She's like quasi-gothy, but she's a year older than me. I think she lived in Belmar. My bus picked her up, to go to school, and her name was Regan, I believe. Her name was Regan, and she was in love with Morrissey. Loved Morrissey. He's the most beautiful thing on the planet. She sat right, across the little bus aisle from me, and every morning she'd have her little Walkman in. I have my Walkman on. I think she liked the Beatles too. And then there was a few conversations I actually had with her who might have been about the Beatles. But she was sullied, in my opinion, the fact she liked the Smiths so much and Morrissey so much. He's the most beautiful creature. And there was another girl, too, in my creative writing class who I disliked incredibly in high school. Who also thought Morrissey was the greatest thing since fucking Peanut Butter and Jelly, man. She was a huge fan of Morrissey. And then my wife... we started cohabitating, I would hear Suede Head, and I was like, Morrissey, fuck, you know what I mean? You didn't tell me about this before we got together, she's a huge fan of Morrissey, you know what I mean? My wife came out of the woodwork, she's from Ecuador, you know what I mean? How the hell, you know what I'm saying? But she was big into Morrissey, she played Morrissey all the time, she still plays Morrissey all the time. Now, my oldest daughter, 17 now, she's a big fan of the Smiths, especially the Smiths, and Morrissey as well. Hairdress on Fire is her greatest song, favorite song on the whole planet. You know what I mean? I was like, I can't get away from this. Everywhere I go, everywhere I turn, there's a fucking Morrissey sounding motherfucker. And I just disdained it. And then last week was a concert in Atlantic City. Morrissey's playing there. And a couple weeks before, my wife's like, because it's my daughter's birthday too, and the same exact day of the concert. She's like, I think that we should, go see Morrissey because I like Morrissey. Your daughter likes Morrissey. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to drive to Atlantic City. See Morrissey at the Ocean Palace Casino. Now, the Ocean Palace Casino is the greatest casino in Atlantic City. I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it. You know what I mean? I just, in a heartbeat, I'll do it. So my wife actually bought the tickets. And then I realized that was the same day as the Tyson, Jake Paul fight, which didn't turn out to be that big of a deal anyway. I enjoyed it, you know what I mean? But I was like, oh. And my youngest daughter, who, too big on Morrissey, but she kind of likes, you know what I mean? She grew up on Jake Paul, Zardvark, And she's like, I want to see that fight, you know what I mean? Even my oldest daughter was huge into the Smiths, you know what I mean? She's like, oh man, we're going to miss the fight. And I did all the time schedule in my head. I think, you know what I mean? I checked all Morrissey's set lists and everything. He usually would stop his concert, at a certain point, and I would calculate everything. Well, we should be able to make it, we'll watch it on the tablet up in the room, because we got a room overnight and everything, you know what I mean? This beautiful, high-rise casino hotel, man. But the day of, man, I started getting cold feet. I don't want to do this, man. And I don't want to go, man. My wife picked up that vibe, and all of a sudden I started fighting with my wife, which is the wrong thing to do. You know what I mean? Period. But I wasn't trying to pick a fight, but she felt my bad vibe coming, and I didn't really want to go. So if you don't want to fucking go, then don't fucking go. You're gonna disappoint your daughter, you disappoint me, you disappoint yourself, she said. I was like, all right, disappoint myself. Fuck that, you know what I mean? I was arguing with her, up to the last minute about anything that could be argued about, you know what I'm saying? We argued about that shit. And then we went and drove down there. You know, it's about an hour from Atlantic City. I got there, you know what I mean, parked the car, get up to the room. The room was gorgeous. The room was, I started loosening up a little bit. You know, I went downstairs. The casino had some drinks, you know, got something to eat. Feeling a little bit more perceptive, you know, feeling a little bit more open-minded, you know. So we get down to, you know what I mean, the concert at the time of the concert, you know, we went in there. And Marcy, before his concert, plays a montage of all these songs that, like, affected him growing up. You know what I'm saying? And they're all terrible. You know what I mean? So no wonder he's so bad, you know what I mean? He listened to all this garbage, you know? Wasn't like a Beatles song in there, nothing. It was just all, like, weird, you know what I mean, 70s, like, punk, you know, strange things, you know what I mean? I know Marcy handpicked all those songs just by the way there, you know? Woven together, you know what I mean? And my daughter was sitting next to me, and she's like, "What song are you really looking forward to hearing?" I was like, "The last song." She like looked at me. She's like, "Come on." And then, you know what I mean, the lights went down, and it was showtime. I'll tell you something. I was fucking mesmerized by this concert. This was one of the best concerts I've ever been to, and he was just so good. And he sounded just like Mars. He's still, you know, sometimes you're like a million years old. You're playing these concerts, you don't sound like yourself anymore, and you start fucking around your shit. But even the fact that I didn't know half the songs he played, every one of them I liked. It's a great song. You know, and his band was just fucking incredible. I think most of his band was like Latinos, you know, and he just had like some of that charisma, you know what I mean? He was arguing with people. It's like this one guy's like, he's like, "You're fucking bumming me out just looking at you," you know what I mean? You're gonna ruin my concert. The night before this concert, he actually ended the concert because all these, you know, gay guys running up on stage trying to touch him, which was his thing back in the 80s. If you ever see the Morrissey video, he used to like that shit. And now he's like, you know what I'm saying? He's been touched by enough gays. And he's touched a lot of gays too, I'm sure. No offense, Morrissey, but, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe I found the you know, the next thing. You know, I really dug the concert, man. He was nasty. He was miserable. You know what I'm saying? And I could relate to that, man. So this is a song he didn't play. This is my wife's favorite song, probably the whole planet. The more you ignore me, the closer I get. You're wasting your time. The more you ignore me, the closer I get. You're wasting your time. I will be at the bar with my head on the bar. Hey man, Marcy, thank you for fucking opening my fucking heart and my cluttered old mind to something new, man. And for an old guy like me, it's hard to get me into something new because I'm so old and I'm so decrepit and I'm so miserable, just like you, Marcy. Thank you, brother. So that's it, man. We fell back in harmony. Hope you enjoyed it, man. 69929, the best of the lot, without a doubt. Sounds great, plays great. It's just a great instrument. It's going to be a daily driver. I'm feeling it. Feeling it. Ant month next up, man. Enjoy the rest of your fall, man. Winter's almost here. You know what that means. It's going to be fucking cold.